Yo, it is DPS Podcast, episode number 18 out here for y'all. This is Slow Mo Backslap. I'm sorry. Today I'm Slow Mo Damas because I do all the accurate predictions, anything that you want to know. I mean, you want to know the lottery for tomorrow? I got you. You want to know, what your girl doing behind your back? I got you, sir. I'm here for you. I know it all. This is what I do. And I got my partner in crime here, Mr. Gaming Forte. What's up, man?
What's up, bro? How you doing today, man? It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. Another day, another DPS podcast, and I'm so proud of you for remembering what the episode number was because I surely forgot.
Well, I do this all the time. I'm always got the number down. See, you always forget. I always have to.
No, I always just go to your channel and see what the episode number was for yours, and then just put a number after it.
This is ridiculous. Let me shout out to people in the chat. We got Enrique with the woo. Enrique, woo! Podcast. What's up, bro? Magnificent Black was good. Mixie dies a lot. What's up, man? We got Racer in the house. Appreciate you always rocking out with us, Racer. Racer. Little status update check for the wife. She's good. She the test results came back negative.
Nice.
That's for coronavirus. In case other people are like, "What test results? What she got?" Like, nah, like it was.
She came back with a baby. She come back with Slow-Mo's fifth child.
Fifth. I have to have a full first. I
don't know, man. She might. That might be the test right there. How many did she actually come back with?
Oh man, look.
So what would you do if you found out you were having twins on top of the 3 you already got?
Cry.
Ooh, that'd be
cry.
Rough.
Tears of pain.
Heartbreak. Fire. He be playing with fire every time he goes into the entryway. Fire below.
I tell you, man. Yo. Hey, look, my pullout game ain't that great. Sorry, I tell you, man. Okay, so look, I don't play them games no more.
Listen. We all be saying it, man. Like I pull out, but man, you be so deep. It's like, man, I can't fight it. I can't fight it. Then you say, listen, man, we married, so it really,
you be like, well,
it really doesn't matter.
What's 18 more years?
18 more years? 18 more years until we can literally say we live in a house of our own without
right.
in it. Yeah, we just extended that by another 18 years. Sorry.
Yeah. Again, what's up, Enrique? Vaccine was good, man. We just want to give you guys the update.
Oh my God, he said Enrique is weak in the pullout game.
Enrique got 7 kids, so he definitely.
They all singles. All singles. He ain't even hit no double plays, no triples. He just straight up said, I'm gonna neglect for punishment. I'm gonna keep going in. Shout out
the
to
blue one was good to you. So Forte,
what up, though?
Yeah, how's your week been, man?
Let's see. I did 3 this is the 3rd podcast this week, so I did 1, and then people say I fell asleep in the other, which wasn't a thing.
Did?
I did not. I just walked away from the mic for a second, sir. Can't walk away from the mic.
No, your mind walked away from the mic. Your consciousness walked away as you went to sleep. There.
You act like you heard me breathing or some stuff like that. No, I was muted the whole time.
So what you did was you said, I'm going to take a quick little cat nap real quick.
Because Enrique's
let me mute my mic first just to make sure they can't hear me snoring this time.
Listen, man, if I was that tired, I would have told Enrique, I'd be like, yo, bro, I ain't going to be on the show today because your boy about to fall asleep in the chair that he's sitting in. So that wasn't the case. I was just, my wife was talking to me about some things. We found out our closing date is actually not this Tuesday, on the 22nd, which is next Friday. We found that out.
That's awesome. All right.
And then we were talking about just a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's kind of where my mind was kind of on that while she was talking to me. She really couldn't wait until the show was over because the show wouldn't be over till 11 o'clock. And she's like, "Well, I'm going to goddamn bed." I was like, "Well, babe, you talk to me now because I don't want you talking to me before I got to go to work in the morning because then I'm gonna end up being late." So she decided to talk to me yesterday. And that's why I wasn't there a couple of times. So let's get it together. But no, man, other than that, I've been playing still playing Destiny, chicken back in playing that. And then I also been playing, I jumped in on not the DLC, but the update to Fallen Order. And I guess we could talk about that later on in the show today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I've been playing that, going back and still playing Immortal Phoenix Rising. That's kind of like my therapy game because whenever I'm tired of playing everything else, I just literally go play that and I feel a lot better after, just beating my head up against the Destiny grind wall. And that's kind of it. And then outside of Luca quitting the game and you putting on her timeline, congratulations, making me feel even worse.
Look, whenever someone gets help, and they go to rehab and they realize they got a problem and they are kicking the habit, you have to congratulate them. You have to, help them, uplift them. You want to make sure that they are supported and they know that you care for them. Yeah. So because you don't want them to slip back into those bad habits and go back to Destiny. So I want to make sure that she understands. I told her I'm gonna get her one of them the little alcoholic chips. Like the little coins, they be like, I got 1 month, like I'm gonna get her one of those.
You realize she gonna come back. Realize she gonna have a relapse though.
See.
She even said it in the title.
That's the problem. Like you addicts, you always like, hey, you gonna come back. You can't give this up. You gonna come back to this. Like y'all just demoralize these people and they get back on the meth. They get back on the on the Vicodin. Listen, and next thing you know, they're strung out on the corner. They look like they 80 and they 23. And it's just not right, man. I'm just trying to help.
Maybe these developers should come out with better games that play better. And
they are. You just gotta play them.
You want to play something else.
They are. You gotta play them, man. Hey, you played Ghost of Tsushima?
Actually, I started it.
You need to continue it on. I'm telling you play some Ghost of Tsushima.
I will after I'm done with Fallen Order.
Okay. Well, okay, I have to hold on, but still, I'm telling you, I'm loving me some Ghost right now. Finally got back to it after playing some other games. I did what you did. I started it. I was like, man, this is really good. I'm gonna get back to it. And you know how that is. You say you're gonna get back to it, and then you're just like, man, that was weeks ago. Man, that was months ago. Man, that was what game was I supposed to get back to? See, so for me, it was like I started it and then I started playing some other stuff, and the next thing I know, it's just like, whoops, I forgot. But now I'm back because I'm looking at my PS5 and I was just like, all right, so I platinum Miles Morales, I platinum the Spider-Man remaster. I'm not playing Dark Souls. What? Not last night because we had Brap and I was dead exhausted afterwards. But the night before, Tuesday. So, but before then, I was playing. I was on my PS5 literally every day for like a full week because I've been playing that Ghost. The Jin, you must do what the samurai do. You must kill them like a samurai. Do not kill them like a ghost. Do not kill them like a thief. Like samurai, because samurai, we must stand in front of them and get shot in the face.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, I look, man, I'm loving it. Like I do think it's like the perfect open world action adventure game, just because the quests are so well done. It's not too many of them. It just seems like with Assassin's Creed, they just be like just throwing like stuff at at the map. Just throw everything at the map. Just anything that we can think of.
Pennies in the air and see where they land at.
Exactly. And the quest be dumb as all get out. Oh, hey, look, I'll give you the drachme. I'll give you this drachme if you go collect 6 chickens and bring them back to me. I'm like, what? Why?
Not chickens. I need you to kill the chickens and get the feathers off the chickens and bring me 6 chickens.
I'm a hardcore bounty hunting assassin, and you want me to go collect some chickens? Like, come on, bro. So no, like the quest and Ghost be like, hey, the bandits killed my entire family right in front of me, made me watch. I'm like, dang, for real?
So what the hell did you do after they got
through? They right over there. They right over there. They living in my house, eating my food.
And I've been like, in my bed. Let's go. I would have told him, let's go. I would have told him, come with me, let's go. You
stay right here. Man, I'm gonna go body them.
There, man. That's not. Why you gonna tell him to stay there, man? That he ain't.
Well, it's not my choice.
Be there. Hey, he got to be there.
Game, man.
You doing it for him? Ain't teaching him no lesson.
Little man, Jim be like, bandits. You stay here. You stay here, little man. I'll go over there. I kill them. I'll kill them dramatically. I cut their heads off. And then I just stand there posing as they slide to the ground slowly. Then I come back and let you know. And then you give me nothing. Because I need nothing. I'm samurai. Like that's the way it is, right? So I'm loving it, right? Story's great. The characters are really good. I just like, man, Sucker Punch really on the come up. Because like I liked their games before. Like I remember playing the first Infamous and be like, "This is a cool game," but it ain't all that, right? And then I didn't play the second one, but I did play Second Son, and I'm like, yo, I really see they stepping the game up on the visuals, and I like Second Son, but it still wasn't like really catching me. Like I wasn't hooked into it, so I never finished it. But you come into Go, and it was like, this is such a departure from what they were doing before. And that's what I really enjoy about the way PlayStation Studios are. It's just, there is no pigeonholing a developer into a certain format. I know there is the whole, all you guys make is third person perspective, action adventure games, cover shooting. Yeah. There is a lot of that. But that's the choice of the developer. If Naughty Dog said, we're gonna make an RPG next, I think Sony would be like, good luck. Sony would be like, listen, how much do you need? Like how much?
How much need you to make this last part 3 and make Abby make sense?
No, see no, they don't do that. They can say, "Hey, where you want to go?"
That until they do that,
just as long as it's good. Because if it's not good, they're gonna tell you, "Hey, look, great." No,
Shuhei will tell you. We don't know about Dance Move Jim Ryan. He gonna let that stuff probably flow.
Well, you don't. Okay, first, your first part of your sentence was correct. Then you flew off the cliff with the second part. Of course, yeah.
Why? We don't know. We can't trust anything. Listen, you can't trust anything to come out of these executives' mouths, especially Jim Ryan, because he has shown the propensity to lie to us to our faces. So he don't get any passes.
Yo, Racer said, what's going on, Racer? He said,
something about an intervention for Forte.
Yeah, can we get an intervention for Forte? I tried, man. I tried until he's too far hooked in to this destiny. He's not only an addict, he's a dealer too. So he's doing both, and he's too caught up in the game. He had lost
15,000 people that watched the video. See, that's why. Shout out to them.
All right, look.
They keep me grounded. Shout out to Racer for coming to the last video that I made, saying I don't know what the hell is going on, but I love the soothing voice of Forte is amazing. That's what I'm talking about. See, Racer comes and supports everything.
Soothing. He does.
He hits the like button. He hits the, he tells people to sub. Speaking of which, it's 12 subs on this video, 12 likes and 10 people watches. I was gonna say we ain't got enough people, but we actually got more likes than we do people watching.
We going to ignore that for now. We're going to ignore it.
Speaking of which, send out the
people going to come through. People going to come through. We ain't worried about it.
Guys, share the link that's on YouTube. You know, Slow-Mo actually did a good job in putting the stuff up early this time, promoting himself.
I only did it early because I didn't want to hear you whining about it later on. So whatever. Let me tell you what I've been playing.
People that forget that we got a show going live actually know about it.
Look, no one forgets when we're going live because they know DPS is Thursday nights every 9 p.m. Okay, all right, we good.
Now, they probably could think we're still at 9:00 on Tuesday. All you know,
we ain't done Tuesday for forever, man. Look, moving on. We moving on.
Okay.
Been playing Ghost, like I said, Ghost of Tsushima. I have, of course, been playing Road Company. They got this new mode now where it's 2v2.
I didn't know that you bought your PC parts at Salvation Army.
What?
I heard you bought your PC parts at the Salvation Army.
What? I don't even know what Racer is talking about in the chat. You know what?
I'm just going off of Racer. You know, Racer know how to he know how to come at one person and he knows how to share the love.
Okay, can I get to what my week has been? Can you stop cutting me off and I can finally talk about my week?
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Slow-Mo. Dog, it's been a crazy week. You know, the Capitol's on fire.
Really? Because I was going to talk about it, but you kept cutting me off.
Slow-Mo.
Huh?
And Slow-Mo Backslap he lives close to the Capitol, not too far away. So on top of that, Slow-Mo, how has your week been being a person that doesn't live too far away from fire and brimstone?
Well, it's probably going to be some more fire and brimstone next week. But it ain't over yet. I mean, look, I was in the comfort of my home, which I mean, I don't live in DC. I live outside of DC, but I mean, I'm looking at that on the TV, and I'm just like, wow, that's like 15 miles away from me right now. That's pretty crazy. Knowing what it's like downtown, I knew immediately while watching it, that this had to be some kind of inside job stuff going on because ain't no way these people got into the Capitol and ain't dead bodies all over the lawn. Cause it ain't no way. And then lo and behold, of course, you start seeing some of the videos where it's like you see people just standing to the sides, they just letting people walk in. And I'm not gonna get deep into it, but it's like, look, if you were insurrectionists, and I did also watch the videos of people getting arrested and they're crying and being dragged away. I may have watched it like 6 or 7 times. It was that funny. It was some enjoyment for me to watch people who are complete idiots and insurrectionists get arrested for what they did. But it is what it is. Gaming wise, Road Company has a 2v2 now, a 2v2 mode and a new map. I gotta get into it. I haven't played Rogue since maybe early Tuesday. I was playing
like 2 weeks ago.
You
make it sound like that was 2 weeks ago.
Well, for me, it is. I feel like it is. Like, I get that. I'm not as bad as you, and I don't get like me scratching my neck and stuff when I can't play it. But I want to get back into it. I'll probably play some this weekend. Definitely want to play it before the 2v2 mode is a limited time thing right now. So it's I want to try it out before they pull it away. But I mean, really, more Cyberpunk. I think I'm at a point now where I'm hitting something major in the story, and I was about to go into a building, and they were just like, "Hey, you better take care of some of these side missions because you can't do them after this." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, let me go." Take care of that. So I got some stuff to do in Cyberpunk, but I think I'm going to slow down on Cyberpunk. I want to do 2 playthroughs of that. I want to do a corporal playthrough, but I'm not as engaged in it as I am with Ghost. Ghost is consuming my gaming time at the moment. So,
I heard Ghost is trash. I heard the update sucks. I heard
you sound like a bot right now.
I heard it stutters. I heard it stutters at 52 frames per second.
I haven't seen a single stutter.
I heard the cherry blossoms are brighter than all hell. Like the saturation is blown out. I just heard.
Maybe people shouldn't play Ghost on a TCL. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like it's these are.
Why did I be playing on a TCL? First,
I don't know why you gotta be lying on a great game. Why you gotta be lying on a great game? I don't understand. You capping hard, man.
I didn't say that. I said that.
I mean, your name right now should be Capping Forte because that's what you're doing.
Well,
you're capping.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Hold on.
Anyway,
how do you spell that? Because my spelling is bad.
Oh, gee, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because if you misspell cat, man, I'm not gonna tell you how to spell it. Even though it's in the chat, you go look in the chat and see it. Someone has said it anyway. Let's get into these topics. First topic on deck.
I don't want people really believing that. I don't want people really believing like Forte said some crazy stuff.
Oh, it's too late. It's too late. It's gonna be a clip on it on Twitter.
He said the Ghost of Tsushima's cherry blossoms are blown out in saturation, and that the game clips at 52 frames per second every time you pick up a sword. No, well, I'm just playing.
It's too late, man. They're gonna clip it. And they're gonna end the clip. They're gonna end the clip right where you said, "Y'all know I'm playing."
You know what that means? We're gonna get people to
be all over Twitter.
That means we're gonna get a lot of people.
And people gonna be like, "I knew that Forte was just a lying bot."
Yep, he's just like all the rest of them.
Right. But first, since we're talking about Xbox kind of stuff. Well, this is somewhat similar to Xbox, and we can get into the nitty gritty of it. But we got some news from Disney, and Disney. It seems like we could be talking about a lot of Disney stuff in today's episode because they've been blessing us with finally some gaming news this week. It's been dry, okay. It's been super dry. It's been desert dry on the gaming front, but Disney really
clutch this week.
Came in clutch. So Disney has created Lucasfilm Games, and Lucasfilm Games is kind of like a publishing arm of the LucasArts IP. And if you guys may recall, or maybe some of you younger guys don't remember this because it's been a minute, but back in the day, LucasArts used to have their own gaming studio, and they would make some games, but then they also published games and had other developers make those games. Those are the ones that I particularly enjoyed. For example, Knights of the Old Republic, one of my favorite games of all time, made by old school BioWare. I gotta always say old school BioWare so people know it's good, right? Old school BioWare, and that
not
was published.
Scorched Earth BioWare.
Yeah, not Scorched Earth BioWare, but old school, classic, amazing BioWare. It was published by LucasArts and also published by Xbox. It was an exclusive for the original Xbox, and that was made by BioWare. It was amazing RPG. It took place in like thousands and thousands of years before the original trilogy in the movies. It was great. But LucasArts also had published and made a number of different Indiana Jones games. None that I've played because the back in the day it was always known that games based off of movies is doo-doo.
That didn't get trumped until Sonic came out this year. Think about that.
No. Games based off of movies, not movies based off of games, man. That's the opposite. That didn't change until
games based on
Rocksteady did Batman Arkham Asylum. But so I didn't really bother with them, but I always loved the Indiana Jones character movies. The first two movies I thought were just classics. The third one was okay. That fourth one don't exist as far as I'm concerned. But
old Harrison Ford.
Yeah, old Harrison Ford can barely move. Stunt double is in 85% of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Broke
But
a leg and everything in the movie.
he break everything. He break his arm waving.
Great actor though.
Oh, he's an amazing actor. So Lucasfilm Games has come back, and the first thing that they announced, well, Monday they announced we're back. And I was like, all right, cool. All right. Started to kind of wonder if my prediction, I'm gonna talk about my prediction that I did a couple years ago, is gonna come true. And then the very next day, I got the confirmation that my prediction did come true. And it was that Lucasfilm Games is publishing or working with Bethesda and the developer MachineGames. If you don't know who MachineGames is, MachineGames has made the Wolfenstein games that are really, really good. Wolfenstein, the New Order, Wolfenstein, the New Colossus. I feel like there's one more I'm missing. I think there's one more.
There is one more. You're missing the most terrible one of all that everybody remembers them for, which is
Youngblood. Yeah, I try to block bad games out of my memory.
I you meant the one that nobody wants to remember.
I actually did play Youngblood.
Did the VR game get published out? Copilot. Who did that one?
Copilot. What?
Who did the Wolfenstein? It's like a Copilot game. It was a VR game.
I don't know.
See someone not up on his VR. I'm about to
I've never played the VR game. No, I wouldn't know anything about it, man.
Yeah, I think it's called Code.
But anyway, so the word is that MachineGames is going to make a Indiana Jones game. MachineGames that have primarily made first-person shooters where there's a ton of bullets everywhere. You got BJ Blazkowicz, double, shotguns, double assault rifles, just spraying and praying, right? I guess the common thing that you could say between Wolfenstein and Indiana Jones is that they both are going up against Nazis, but that's really the only similarities that you got. So
maybe they like their rendition of Nazis. Maybe they like their rendition of Nazis.
Maybe they do.
They actually do a pretty good job with their enemies.
They do a great job with a lot of things. I think MachineGames, outside of Youngblood, is really, really underrated as far as a developer. Their gunplay is good. Their visuals are amazing, although it's not their engine. They use a modified version of id Software's id Tech engine. And I think their writing is very good, which I think is going to be the most underrated thing about this game, is that the writing is probably going to be top notch. Although if this venture with Disney is anything like how they do it with Star Wars, a lot of the writing also will be collaborated with Disney's people. So just to make sure everything is canon, they do that with Star Wars. They did it with EA. So that's going to be, but it's just like the way that they did the dialogue in the Wolfenstein games and the characters. I was always very, very impressed. Now, my question to you, Forte, is: do you think this game is going to be a first-person shooter, or is it going to be more in the vein of an Uncharted or a Tomb Raider?
Oh man, Xbox don't need no more first-person shooters.
Sure don't.
They don't need that.
Nah.
I think this would be an opportunity for MachineGames to like flex their muscles and show that we're more than just a Wolfenstein studio. Because if you make a shooter, you're basically leaning into exactly what you already were, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, use the breadth and scope of the development that you already are used to just make a better, even version of a game that you never made before. But I think if they went to the action adventure / third person type game, or however they want to do it, I think that would just bring a little bit more. I think that just bring a little bit more. What's the name to the studio? People will look at it as like, yo, this studio ain't just a one trick pony, because
right.
up until Horizon Zero Dawn came out, everybody thought Guerrilla was just, yo, man, all they gonna make is
studio making a C-tier first-person shooter.
Yeah, that's all they gonna be. And then they came out Horizon Zero Dawn, and now the sky's the limit. The people think that's one of the best development houses that Sony got, and I'm like, yo, bro, I listen. And this ain't. And
they got one of the best engines. They made one of the best. Yeah, they got one. Gotta give them that. That's an engine. That's the one thing that is the biggest contribution that Guerrilla has ever.
But that's why I always tell people, I was like, people up here capping, it's like, Horizon Zero Dawn is amazing. I'm like, yo, bro, Horizon Zero Dawn was boring as hell.
It is. Yeah, look, man, look.
It's boring as hell.
Beautiful game. Beautiful game. It ain't perfect.
Character direction and structure and dead eyes. It got all that stuff. It's boring. It's a reason
terrible side quests.
Terrible side quests. Get halfway through the game and you feel like the only saving grace for that game was the fact that you get to go out with bows and arrows and you get to go against giant mechs and machines.
Yeah, that combat is awesome.
That's what I'm saying. The combat is beautiful.
That combat. Sometimes I boot it up on PC just to run around and kill stuff, just because I really enjoy that combat. Story, I don't really care for it. The dead eye look that every NPC give you, I mean, like, it is what it is. But hold on. At the same time, this is Guerrilla's first foray into an action RPG. So there's some things that you can forgive. There's some things that you can say, all right, look, you're not the perfect at this yet because this is your first time really giving it a shot. It's the reason why I talk about like Mass Effect 1. I say, hey, look, the cover shooting in Mass Effect 1 is awful. But that was BioWare's first time even having a gun to shoot, in a game. So it was like they had to, feel their way around it. Now, for Forbidden West, I expect to see some improvements on story and things like that, and facial animations and stuff like that. I expect all that to get better. I fully expect Guerrilla to knock it out the park. But I mean, it is what it is,
Racer is getting a headache in the chat.
All right, man. Racer's
getting a headache right now. He's
like, your panties, bro. You'll be all right.
Be all right, bro. Listen. We tell you right now that Mass Effect is by far head and above probably the best franchise ever made. And that game had a terrible first game when it came to like the way that the game played. Story was great. But the game itself, what?
The story saved it. The story
literally the story
absolutely saved Mass Effect 1. The story, that Mako.
That Mako and the way that you could do tricks and it always landed on his feet.
Oh my god!
I was like, I always called it Mako cat. I was like, dog, you could drop this one from a tower and it's gonna find its way on his feet somehow, some way, because this is trash. But
right.
That's what I think what they can do with this whole with the Indiana. I do think I'd rather them do something different and out of the ordinary than just do something that they're already good at, because this is the opportunity for you to experiment. Now, granted, a lot of people will say, well, do you really want to experiment with the first time that you're going to have such a big IP from a third party like Lucas? Yeah, maybe they play it safe on the first one, but I do want to see them change it up a little bit, because if this was PlayStation, people will be like, yo, a shooter? That's what's up. We finally get a shooter on PlayStation that, isn't like the ordinary like we already have. That's the same thing for Xbox. The Xbox has shooters everywhere. Do you really want another one? I mean, I'll take it if that's what they give us, but
no, I'm not taking it. More. I don't see how. Look,
I don't even understand how you can have him shoot. He shot it one time.
Try to imagine Indiana Jones as a first-person shooter.
I can't, because
in the movie, he don't even use his pistol all the time, right? So that's not even like something that he should be having, just how like in first person shooters, when you run, you got the running animation, you see the gun kind of swaying, in the screen, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see see his pistol just swaying back. Big pause. Big pause. The whip. Can you imagine first person shooter and you using his whip?
Yeah.
Come on, that just don't even look right. And for everything that you kind of see in Tomb Raider and Uncharted, the set pieces, the times where in Uncharted Drake is in a car chase or he's driving in like the little Jeep through beautiful terrain and stuff like that. Stuff that they pretty much just really lifted it from Indiana Jones. Both of those games, those like the Crystal Dynamics reboot and Uncharted, are homages to Indiana Jones. It's which is not a problem because Indiana Jones is a great property and they did it justice. So I know there's some people that feel like, well, don't just copy what has already been done in gaming. But it's like, if you don't do that format, is it even Indiana Jones?
Right.
Like, is it even, what is this then? Because I don't want a first person shooter. I would like, if you want to make it somewhat different, Laura and Nathan Drake are mass murderers. Okay, like I don't want to see Indy as a mass murderer. Right. I want some of the, like, to use his whip and have his whip be how the swinging sections that you saw from Uncharted, like and the grappling hook that he and Laura use. Let his whip do that. Have him doing a lot of the platforming sections parts. I'm cool with that. And by the way, let me shout out some people in the chat. What's up, Cybernox? What's up, Ryan? What's up? I thought I saw someone up earlier. Artemis. What's up, Artemis? I want it to be like, not that he not shoot his gun, but it not be like how you go into a kill zone area, you kill all the enemies, maybe have some dialogue with a side character, go to the next kill zone area, rinse and repeat. That's how the very linear perspective of linear method of how those games went. They keep that linear method, but still just have it a little bit different. Maybe you should definitely have more puzzles than those games, and I want some more in-depth puzzles, like stuff there. Vac, I agree. Vac, incorporate some stealth elements. That could be a way that MachineGames could really differentiate this from Tomb Raider and Uncharted, which would be, as you said, really elevate MachineGames, because what do we know them for? We know them for having BJ Blazkowicz in a wheelchair shooting up Nazis. We know him for shoving like nukes up Hitler's behind, or getting decapitated and his teammates grab his head and put it on a android's body for him to keep fighting. It's just like it's wild, old school first person shooter. What's how much health I got left? Let me just run in here, running and gunning and tank everything and blow everyone up kind of stuff. This is going to be a huge departure in how the gameplay feels, how it looks. It needs to be a huge departure in everything except engine. I think id Tech would be perfect for this. But I just want to see MachineGames really elevate themselves. And I think this is the perfect opportunity. And apparently maybe Bethesda feels that way too, because I think probably, and this is just my speculation, that Disney / Lucasfilm Games came to Bethesda and was like, we want to make an Indiana Jones game. Who do you have that could do that the best?
Right.
And it was like, yo,
what kind of game are you looking for?
Let's call up MachineGames and let's talk. So I think they're getting their chance to really show everyone what they're really about. And I think that's I mean, we'll see how it works out. It could bomb, or
it's not an easy game to make, though. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the one, because it's like you said, Indiana Jones in a game fashion really doesn't the movie doesn't really translate as well to a video game, especially if you're not going to have guns and stuff in it. Because I mean, that's all Uncharted technically is Indiana Jones with guns, but if you're going to use the Indiana Jones name, it's like I'm really interested to see how the gameplay mechanic is going to play itself out, because it seemed like it could be more of a narrative thing. But yeah, you're right. It just really comes down to exactly how they're going to tackle that experience in general. And maybe it won't be a super long 20-30 hour campaign. It could just be something short and simple. But as long as it's good, that's all that matters.
Well, if it's going to be something that is going to be a continuation, like not just, hey, you did a one-off game for us, cool, appreciate that. Or, or it's like, hey, this is the first part of a trilogy. Then, all right, I'm cool with it being a short experience, but this is the only one that you plan on doing. Like, it's going to be a self-contained Indiana Jones story taking place in between in the timeline between maybe like movies 1 and 2 and that kind of deal. Then I want a much longer pause. I want a more fleshed out experience.
Right.
Than just, hey, it was a cool 6-hour, game that, had a nice little story to it. Not bad. Like I want some better than that. So what I got here is a Racer says, Slow-Mo, if you didn't like Horizon Zero Dawn, first off, I didn't say I didn't like Horizon Zero Dawn. You see how these PlayStation guys get all butthurt about things? Like, you say one little criticism about a game, and they like, oh, you hate the game. Why do you hate this game? Don't you know everything that they make is perfect? Don't you know what's wrong with you? Like, no, I didn't say I didn't like the game. I like Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm just, pointing out that, everyone looked like they got Botox in the face, and their face don't move. It's just weird. But I didn't benchmark it, and Grace don't even know what benchmarking is. But
I like how you basically told the chat that Mrs. Slow-Mo is in good health, so the safety is off.
But what I will say is that I've gone further on the PC version of Horizon Zero Dawn than I did with the PlayStation version, because I can play it at a much higher frame rate with ultra settings on, so it looks better and it runs better. And so even though it may have,
still didn't fix that story though.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about the story.
Well, I bought it. I did the same thing. I bought it on PC, and the reason I bought it is because I kind of wanted to give the game another chance, because it wasn't that I didn't enjoy the game. I was enjoying the game when I was playing of it. But then Breath of the Wild came out, and I was like, "Oh, this is what Horizon should be." And I was like, okay. And then I just never went back to Horizon, because Horizon is one of those games, like, once you start it, it's hard to get back into it. So I thought of it being, well, if I'm going to start over, I'm going to start over on PC and give it another chance. But then they blew that because the freaking performance on PC sucked.
Well, it was not optimized very well at launch.
No, not at all. And it's I still keep wanting to go back and play it, but it's like
I did also hear that the expansion they came out with was excellent.
The expansion was better than the base game.
Right, which is what I kind of want to like get to that. I feel the same way about Witcher 3. I'm about to really piss people off now, because now I'm talking about Witcher 3. I feel the same way about Witcher 3. I couldn't get through the base game in order to get to the blood and wine and all the other stuff. I heard like those expansions are amazing. I'm like, yeah, but the base game is just kind of just okay to me. So yeah. But to get back to what we were talking about, about MachineGames and about Indiana Jones, I forgot what I was going to say until we went with this tangent real quick. Humor. So one thing, something that Vaccine said in the chat, and I agree with, they gotta make sure that the story, I'm pretty sure they're gonna nail this, because Disney is working with them on the story, but the artifacts, all that stuff that Indiana Jones kind of deals with in his movies needs to be a part of this game. But I think the humor also needs to be there too, because Indiana Jones is hilarious. It's all the I've always enjoyed and laughed my ass off at every, except for laughed more out of pity and how bad the last one was, the Crystal Skull one. That one that was like laughing at it, not with it. But the other three, hilarious, great.
Yeah.
I love the chemistry between the guy that just died. He used to be Bond. Sean Connery. Yeah, Sean Connery and Harrison Ford. They had great chemistry in that third movie. I think that's probably. I didn't think the movie was as good as the first two, but I thought their chemistry together really kind of saved it. But just they gotta nail that. They gotta nail that. They gotta nail the voice. I don't know if Harrison Ford can really play like a younger version of himself. I don't know. You know how like you get old, your voice gets old. So like I don't know if he can sound young. Maybe they need to get someone else to really nail that, and hopefully not some of the same people that we keep seeing over and over again in the industry doing all the voices for everything. Although Nolan North
gonna be it, man.
Nolan North will probably make you think it is Harrison Ford.
Nolan North,
but maybe
or it could be Troy Baker.
I don't know if Troy Baker can do that. I mean, Troy Baker. I don't know if he can do that.
Ashley probably can get a really deep voice.
Yeah, but it's just I think above all, it needs to be something that's very different than what MachineGames has done, and it needs to really, because now this is a okay. Before I finish this thought. Do you think this is going to be exclusive to Xbox?
Oh, this is the thing that you was
you just sat up in your chair. I know you just sat up in your chair.
Yeah, I did just say you probably heard my chair. I was like, oh, let me sit up. I don't know. Same thing I said on Brab yesterday. This is the one game. If you had to put money down on it, I would bet that it's going to be third party. I mean, not third party, but third party distributed, because it's a first party studio by Microsoft. Part of me thinks that is going to be the case, but I just think that Microsoft more than likely was at the table when this deal was being brokered, because it's not like this deal happened in the last year. It's not like Microsoft's deal.
It may have.
Well, it could have, but even if it happened in the last year, it's not like Microsoft wasn't sitting at the table with them, because this purchase has been talked about since 2018. So
true, but then also we'll get into the next topic with massive entertainment and Lucasfilm games. They have been talking and kind of working through the details of Massive doing the Star Wars game for almost a year.
Yeah, for almost a year.
So it would seem to be like, can't just take that and say, well, it's been a year for Bethesda and but just like there is a chance that that is the case, that they've been kind of working on it for a little while. But that said, I think that it's going to be multi-plat. And I think it's going to be multi-plat because you could try to go with the example that Disney allowed Insomniac and Sony to do Spider-Man exclusive, but it's a different, even though it's the same company, it's very apples to oranges as far as I'm concerned, for two reasons. One, because Spider-Man is right at now in 2021 is 10 times more popular than Indiana Jones is. Yeah. This ain't the 80s. In the 80s, it would have been flipped. But this is not. This is 2021. Spider-Man, everyone knows who Spider-Man is. If I said to my kids, yo, who's Spider-Man? They're probably going to either tell me Miles Morales or Peter Parker. Both of them are super popular, right? But if I told them, hey, who's Indiana Jones? They just be looking at me like, who? Who's that? Like, so it's like it's not the only people who really know Indiana Jones like that is people our age, because we grew up with it. and it hasn't really had any really good movies to in the past couple decades to really kind of keep it popular. There have been no really groundbreaking, amazing games to kind of keep it into the minds of gamers. So the IP really would benefit from having a huge audience to work with, and not just Xbox and PC. So I could see it having Xbox, PC, Stadia, PlayStation, probably not Switch, but like maybe Switch Pro. Switch Pro can handle it, but having everyone have the opportunity to play it, and plus there's the whole talk that Indiana Jones is coming back for another movie. I'm causing Google search to go off on Artemis' phone. That better not say nothing that get you it gets you have an FBI coming to your door. Then, but I think it needs to be multi-plat so that it can reach a broader audience and get the opportunity for them to take this IP and try to revive it a little bit more. Plus, the other reason why Spider-Man was able to be exclusive is because PlayStation had install base for PlayStation 4 was ridiculous. It was twice as big, 3 times as big as Xbox's. So yeah, you can do that because they knew it was going to sell. And did it sell? It absolutely sold. So yeah, you can do that. We don't know what the install base is going to be for Xbox Series. It's off to a good start. But is it going to be outsell PlayStation? No. So I would think Disney and Lucasfilm Games will want it to be, everywhere. So and you can make those kind of decisions, or whether you're gonna make something multiplayer or exclusive when it's your own IP. When it's someone else's IP, there's other thoughts and ideas that are in the boardroom, and especially if you don't own the IP. If they say, nah, fam, I want that on PlayStation, guess what? It's going to be on PlayStation. Look at MLB The Show. MLB said, yeah, we want more money. We want it on everything. Sony said, well, all right, I guess we're going to have to, go drop this on the Xbox Series console. It is what it is. So,
yeah. So the question is this, or the statement is really coming down to this, though. I agree, because I think that's the more plausible thing that might happen or will happen. I just think if that does happen, because this game is going to get, they won't announce any platforms for this game for some time. Like, this game is probably 3 years out. As long as Xbox
minimum
3 years out. As long as Xbox has a good staple of Bethesda games that are going to be exclusive to Xbox, then I think it's fine. But if they go down this road where Bethesda games are everywhere and they're even on PlayStation, and then this game's on PlayStation 2, then it's like, well, why have an Xbox at all? Why have this? Why want to share this ecosystem at all? Like, we understand that you have Game Pass, and Game Pass can be played on PC and everything, but you told us that Xbox is a priority. So if that's the case, why go out and buy Bethesda? Why not just do marketing deals with Bethesda to put the games in Game Pass instead of going out right and purchasing them? I just think, unless they are going to tell us in the next year, because they will have to do this before that game comes out, because I think a lot of people will think like you. It's a third party that basically owns. It's an intellectual IP that's not owned by anybody but Lucas. So they have a lot more control over where that game is being, where the game is going to be distributed at, and what platforms it's going to be on. But Xbox has 100% control in what happens with Bethesda's games. So when it comes to the games that they make, that they publish, those games, they have to do something has to be exclusive to Xbox. Because if it's not, at that point, you're going to really see people complaining then. Because then it's like, well, I could just bought a PlayStation and never even bought an Xbox. Because why? So I think that's going to be the thing that they're going to have to juggle by the time this announcement come out. But I do think games like Starfield, I think games like that are going to be exclusive to Xbox because that seems to be the game that Xbox talks a lot about. I talked about it in my latest Xbox video where I said, Starfield comes out of their mouth a lot. Phil Spencer says it, Xbox says it. I think that game is a lot closer than we think. I think that's going to be
here's the question.
Blow over the lid with. So if they give us that,
here's the question though. So Starfield was in development far longer before this.
Far, very far.
Right. So guaranteed Bethesda intended it to be on PlayStation, third party, multi-platform game when they develop, because all their games are.
Yeah.
So is it? So we know a lot of the other studios that they've purchased in the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They have allowed them to continue with obligations that they already had. So, so for example, In Exile with Wasteland 3, you had it Kickstarter. The people who are PlayStation gamers who put money on that Kickstarter, they intend to play it on the PlayStation console. Fulfill your obligations. You're good. Same thing with Obsidian and the Outer Worlds. Games that were published with different publishers, like Private Division is the publisher for the Outer Worlds. So you're not going to interfere with stuff that they already got done just because you purchased the developer that's making the game. That said, you didn't just buy the developer.
You bought the publisher.
So you're going to have full control over where this game goes. There is no dissenting thoughts in the boardroom, but they already set this precedent where they said that if we will fulfill obligations. If we told someone we're going to put this game on your platform, we're going to put it on your platform. So if they already got the license for Starfield to put it on PlayStation,
that's different.
Are they going to, after they've acquired Bethesda, say, you know what? You can keep that license.
That's different. That's kind of a different, because unless you're telling me that Sony had the marketing rights and they had exclusive rights to the game, like how Deathloop is. The reason that's still going is because PlayStation paid to have that game exclusively to their platform for a year. That's why I think that still happened. If it was just the game was coming to the PlayStation platform and it was coming to both platforms, it could have been a chance that Xbox would have nixed that deal. I think they wouldn't have done it because it was so close to the acquisition phase where there's like, we're still going to honor that, because the acquisition hasn't even went through yet. We don't even technically own them. So we can't really make any changes like that. But things that are going to be further out that are discussed, then we have a bigger say so. We did. Now, if Starfield, like we heard the rumors about PlayStation going out and trying to get Starfield exclusive to PlayStation. I think if that would have happened before Bethesda signed the deal with Xbox, I think Xbox would still honor that because they paid for an exclusive deal. And the thing is, Xbox looks at it like, well, we're still going to get the money off the game because we own the publisher, we own the studio, we own the company as a whole. So we're still going to make the money off of it. We just won't have it exclusive. We won't have it on our platform. That's fine. But now that I think the fact that they haven't had any type of signed deals or anything like that, I think that's where it kind of gets to a point where Xbox says, we don't have to put this on PlayStation. Just because we have not a deal, but just because we have the resources to put it over there doesn't mean we have to put it over there.
Well, of course, they don't have to put anything anywhere. They can make it everything exclusive, and promote Game Pass and promote their platforms and say, hey, look, you want to play these Bethesda games, then you know what you gotta do. You gotta buy yourself an Xbox or build a PC or buy a pre-built PC and play it there.
Right.
It ain't gonna be on the PlayStation. Or they could say, hey, we spent $7.5 billion and we're gonna make our money back. So we're gonna put it on everything. We're gonna put it on a toaster. We're gonna put it on the Switch somehow, and we're gonna make our money. They could do both. It could go either way. But all I'm saying is that with we've seen there's already been a precedent set where they have had obligations on games that were in development before studios were purchased, and they allowed those games to continue on. They didn't take things away. And Phil is always on this, and one of the very few things he's been always consistent about is that he doesn't want to take games away from gamers.
Yeah,
he said that multiple times. So I'm just saying that. What's up, Big Mike? Hold on real quick. I did want to touch on something Dr. Sarakis said. He said this could be an exclusive. Remember that it's going to be 20 years since Tomb of the Lost Emperor on the original Xbox. Now, to go back to the original Xbox, you got to think about this, Dr. Sarakis. That's whole different management. The only person who is still just two people who are still here from back then, and that's Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg, and neither one of them were in charge back then. So we just saw an article last week that talked about how they were trying to buy Square, they were trying to buy Nintendo, they were trying to buy EA, they were trying to buy everybody. So they spent buku money out there trying to get exclusives for original Xbox because they really weren't trying to make their own games themselves. They're a bit different now, and the philosophy is different now. So I don't really think that how they manage original Xbox really applies to how Xbox leadership is managing their IP and first party development now. But I mean, there's a good thought though. Go ahead, man.
No. I was going to say no. I think you're right. The biggest thing is I think all those circumstances you were talking about where they let stuff stay, with the exception of like Minecraft, is a circumstance where either like Private Division published the game, somebody else published it, and they wouldn't live up to that publishing agreement because it's outside of their control. But
then Bethesda is
they own
the one that made the publishing agreement.
They own Bethesda. That's the difference. See,
Bethesda also said that we still Bethesda and we still manage our own stuff.
No, they still own Bethesda.
They said Bethesda, like Todd Howard and the other guy, can't remember his name, said we are still Bethesda. We are still managing and maintaining everything, which makes sense. They got eight studios. They got a whole publishing department. You don't want to, have to lay people off because now there's a crossover between the people who do all that stuff, the same stuff that Bethesda does in their publishing of their games that you already have with Xbox. Yeah, let them keep handling all that stuff, but then they are handling that stuff. So if they already have obligations, it's no different than when Obsidian and In Exile had obligations. P. Hines, thanks, Big Mike. Yeah, that's what they said. They said that we're still managing everything that we're doing. It's just that
Xbox could have took those away, but it's completely different when money changes hands and you got an exclusive deal where it's not like a handshake deal.
But money hasn't changed hands yet because they still working through all the legal mumbo jumbo of things.
Money changes hands with Xbox. I'm talking about money changing hands with these other developers. So Private Division funded The Outer Worlds to have that put on all platforms and stuff. So that money had already changed hands. Unless Microsoft's going to go back and say, here's your money back. That's the only way they're going to probably renege on that deal. Same thing with the developers of like Tokyo Ghoul, like with Deathloop. That money changed hands. PlayStation paid to have that on their platform exclusively for however long it's going to be. And unless Xbox is going to go in and give that money back, which they're not going to do, they're fine with it. I just think once you get to a point where, like I said, if Sony would have found a way to get Starfield to be exclusive on their platform, and that money changed hands, then you would see Starfield exclusive on on PlayStation's platform. I just think overall that's the only thing that's different in this scenario is that they own the publishing arm and they own the studio. I get what you're saying, but the biggest thing is Microsoft can kind of do whatever they want. And Phil Spencer kind of said that too. He said that we're going to look at these games on a case-by-case basis, and we're going to do what makes sense for that game and that studio. So, yes, they can operate independently of Xbox, but when it comes to where the games are going to go, they're still going to go through Microsoft, and Phil Spencer say, what do you think about this plan to put these games here, there, and whatever? And it's still going to have to get signed off by the man upstairs.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with part of that. I'm gonna tell you what I'm agree with. Enrique had a good point here. He said, I have some insight into this from an internal source at Bethesda. They are operating the same and will operate as they had before Microsoft purchased. 90% the way they do business won't change. Which is pretty much what we are saying is that they will still manage the teams. They'll still this doesn't have to be Matt Booty going to go talk to id Software or going to have to go talk to Arcane or Human Head or they Slaughterhouse, whatever they changed their name. Human Head changed their name recently. He won't need to go speak to them. That's still going to be Todd Howard speaking to them because it's almost kind of like it is a subsidiary. They're all subsidiaries of Microsoft, but it's like a separate branch to the tree. But now Pete Hines and Todd Howard, they're pretty much on like equal level with Matt Booty. Yeah, and then they all still report to Phil. But I do think that 10% that Enrique's talking about is where the games go. But what all I'm saying is that we have a precedent already set where whatever the games that were already in development when they acquired someone were set to go, they stay there. And Starfield has been in development for a while. They announced it a long time ago.
They did.
2-3 years ago. It's been in development for a minute. They keep talking about it and keep name dropping it. It makes me kind of feel like it's coming out soon. Like we actually see the game and the way Bethesda do things. They'll hit you with. They used to do show up at E3, announced and revealed the game, revealed everything, and then said coming out in September, 3 months from now. So we could very well get something like that this year, where Starfield is revealed for the first time in June, and then launched in October. That can very well happen because that's how Bethesda does things. But I think that if they already had plans for it to be on PlayStation, it's going to be on PlayStation. This goes into that whole thing where they said it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. And I think that when you got like Arcane's new game that's about to come out, I don't think that's going to PlayStation. I really don't think once we get past into years into the future and we get past like some years down the line and now they actually are starting developmental games under the Xbox umbrella, then you're going to see a lot less games being on PlayStation.
So you're talking about basically next generation at that point then?
The middle of this generation to next generation.
Because you got to think games like they announced, they technically announced Elder Scrolls 6 on stage. And
but at the same time, I don't know if they actually went out and secure licensing for platforms for Elder Scrolls 6 when they first announced it, knowing it was. I mean, they just showed you like a graphic, a JPEG.
What they showed you for Starfield. They didn't show you a trailer.
Yeah. But we know they were actually working on Starfield, and from what I've heard, they really aren't really working on Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's
interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. let's see. But another interesting tidbit that came out with this stuff with Lucasfilm Games, because they just been dropping all the heat this week, is that EA has lost its Star Wars exclusive contract. Well, lost it in the sense that it's not being renewed. Like, it's not dead. The contract is still active, and Disney probably have found this to be the best way to go about it, so to make sure that they still got some games coming out that are using their IP and making it, giving them that money, while they're also making moves to, really be better satisfied with their gaming content for their IP. So what I mean by that is that back in 2013, EA signed a 10-year deal with Disney for Star Wars. So all the Star Wars games would be in EA's wheelhouse. EA's developers will be making those games, which back then was a huge deal and has not really turned out well for both companies. We've seen EA openly state how those games don't really make a lot of money for them, and they don't really seem too enthusiastic or motivated to really make those games. Disney has not been happy with some of the bad publicity that EA's games have provided them. Battlefront 2, for example, with the loot box scenarios and everything, and them having to give them a phone call because like they about to launch, a movie, and you giving us bad publicity. We don't need no more bad publicity. We already got enough as it is. So there was EA canceling 3 games that were in development. I'm pretty sure they weren't happy about that. The EA didn't allow BioWare to do a Knights of the Old Republic 3, which I was upset about when I first heard it. But then in hindsight, maybe that was for the best too, because of BioWare. But this is interesting because I said they were going to do this years ago. Maybe you remember this, Forte. I said this on Scumcast. I said that Disney is done with EA as an exclusive partner for Star Wars. They're not dealing with this anymore. They're not going to be taking this. They're going to go back to how they used to do things, which is pick and choose developers that fit the best need for the IP and have amazing games made for them. And I know there's some people out there who didn't agree with me, and they're eating all kinds of crow now, which is fine. Everyone is wrong every now and then, but
it's almost wrong every once in a while too.
Yeah, very rarely. Very like 0.5% of the time. But the announcement was that a developer that I like sometimes, Massive Entertainment, is now doing a Star Wars game. And Julian Garrity, who was the creative director and lead director for The Division 1 and 2, which is the games that Massive is most known for, is the lead director for the Star Wars game, which has been kind of in the talks with Lucasfilm Games and Disney for almost a year now. Mm-hmm. They are the 2 things that they said that I thought that really struck to me is that Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, said that this was a long-term venture. He said this was a long-term deal, which tells me that what they're doing is this is going to be a new IP in the Star Wars realm, like how Battlefront is a like Jedi Academy is what KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. When you say those names, what kind of game it is. Mm-hmm. It seems like they are creating a new kind of Star Wars game with Ubisoft. And I think it was a great idea for them to choose Massive. One, because Massive has a excellent game engine. Now, people can say whatever they want about The Division. You can not like it. You can like it, whatever. I enjoy the game. I haven't played it too often because they're pretty much really not doing much with Division 2. And we can kind of talk about whether we think there's ever going to be a Division 3 or not. Huh?
We know now why.
Right. Yeah, because they got too much going on. So look, people have forgotten that they've been working on the Avatar game for some years now. that's a big deal when you have these games you're working on, and the thought is to have the game come out around the same time as a movie, because the Avatar movie, so it's like you're not even on your own timetable. You can't delay your game because the property that you're working with, the company that you're working with who owns the license is counting on you to have that game ready when their movie is ready, and they're not worried about you. They're not worried about you. They're like, no, our movie is ready December 2022. Your game better be ready in November 2022. Damn it. So it's like you got to have it ready. So you got to dedicate resources to that. The Division is their own IP. So now, the Division hasn't had any real true content updates in like almost a year, 6 months, something. Look, they have said nothing about year 3 content. It's I think it's a done deal. They got like these missions that you do where you hunt down other operatives, and they finally got like I guess we'll know what if they're going to do anything, or they're going to shut the whole thing down fairly soon, because the main antagonist at the end of the Warlords of New York is now the last person operator that you go after in this current season. So once this season is done, I guess we're gonna find out what's next. If there is a what's next.
If there is next, right?
I don't think there's gonna be a Division 3. I just don't think if there is a Division 3, it's gonna be not made by Massive, because and you know how Ubisoft is. Every time their games are made, their games aren't made by one developer. There's one main developer, and it's like 6 co-developers that are actually there behind them. Thank you, Darkside. Last summer was the last update. Just imagine that, man. Seriously. So yeah, for a looter shooter, that's terrible. Red Storm is another developer that's pretty much handled the majority of the PvP, which has got almost 0 updates and content for the Division 2. But Red Storm has been the other main developer that has been on the Division games, and it is possible they could take over full development of it in lieu of Massive having to do all this work.
How about they make a real Ghost Recon game? I miss Red Storm making Ghost Recon games.
There's a different studio that does Ghost Recon now, but I can't remember what their name is. But no, all that said, Snowdrop is the engine that they created for the Division. Snowdrop is so good. First off, it's probably one of the best engines in the gaming industry for realistic visuals. Where you want to have, like, you look at New York City in the Division 1, you look at Washington, D.C. in Division 2, it looks amazing. It looks like, what you would expect these cities to look like. It has dynamic weather effects that are second to none in gaming. It has perfect reflections and lighting and visuals, and they have they use. I actually watched a video that talked about how they set up the sun and how it works, and like depending on when you walk in the White House in the game, how like the sun shines in through the windows, and it'll look perfectly like some of the pictures when they went to the White House. They actually take pictures and map it all out. It looks amazing, and I think one of the other things that I found that was really interesting about Snowdrop engine is that it's really easy for developers to work with. They have all these game designers, and these game designers, they talk about how building the worlds in Snowdrop engine is like playing with Legos. It's essentially just drag and drop and move these brilliant assets. They call it a node system, where they move certain nodes here and there, and it just works. It works well. Now it's on its 3rd iteration of Snowdrop, and they've made drastic improvements since the very beginning. But I think it's the perfect engine for being able to develop a game as quickly as possible and as seamless as possible without having a massive headache and getting stuff done, which is probably what Disney wants. They want there to be a game ready to go as quickly as they're able to actually release a game, which is now until 2023. So what do you think, man? What do you think about Massive taking on a Star Wars game?
Oh man, I think it was a good pick. I think Massive, they've shown that they have really good ideas when it comes to a sandbox and stuff. Now, how they implement the sandbox and stay up to date with the sandbox is two different things. But I do think a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to build that type of game that they're trying to build when it comes to a loot game. We don't have any information on what kind of game this is going to be. Part of me wants to hope that this game is kind of it isn't like this ever-growing game, like something like Star Wars Galaxy, like they have on PC. But then again, it also could be a point that's kind of what EA wants, and not EA, but what LucasArts and Disney want. They want to have a game that is ever growing, and they want to have a game that's going to go out and do the things that they need to do to just keep players engaged on a day-to-day basis. I think there's better studios they could have did that with, but I think if they want to have a coherent story from beginning to end and use a very competent engine to do it, with a developer that has proven that they can actually build a very realistic, very visually intense type game, I think that would be the studio that they picked the right studio for it. Plus, the shift in management at Ubisoft probably made that a little bit easier for them to actually go in. I think the studio probably got an injection of a lot of excitement, because just like when EA got the exclusive rights to it the first time around, all you heard the developers talking about is like, yo, it's like a dream come true to work on something Star Wars. And, and then the one thing that you talked about earlier, whatever they make is going to be canon. You have an opportunity to literally dictate what happens in the world of Star Wars, and normally that stuff is written out by other people, like people close to the LucasArts camp and Disney, and it's all being vetted out to make sure that's what they want the story to be. But the fact that you are working on something that literally is part of the lore is a whole nother exhilarating thing. They talk about Kyle Kestis in just regular conversation now, because he's part of the Star Wars lore, and that's a character that Respawn created. And just think about it. Now he's part of Star Wars lore. So I think this is a really, really good move for them. And I just want to see them do something, because I think they kind of get a bad shake, as much as I give Division a bad shake sometimes. I love Division. Division, was one of my favorite games of last generation. I live in that type of atmosphere that the game that they made. But I just think that the missteps and the things that they were trying to do to try to appeal to the gamers, and then the things they took away that they didn't add back when it came to the second time around, I think that was kind of the downfall of what happened with Division. So I
agree with that. Yeah, on a technical level, Massive is great at doing the technical work. I think their decision making and where they choose to go with games when they have full control over them, or maybe not full control, considering how we know how Ubisoft was managed up until last year. Maybe some of the things that the gamers wanted, like having survival mode back, maybe that was stuff that just wasn't allowed. It wasn't allowed to have to bring that back, because maybe the DLC that upper management said, well, that survival DLC didn't sell as much as we wanted it to, so don't do that again, even though it was super popular among maybe all the DLC for Division 1 didn't sell that well, and they just looking at numbers and saying, well, nope, that didn't work, but it did work. People loved it. It was super unique. It wasn't done anywhere else. So I think those kind of decisions won't be a problem when you're working with Lucasfilm Games, and they're just like, this is what we want for Star Wars. So you're just going to do what they tell you to do. Want to talk about something that Vaccine said. So Vaccine says hands down is going to be a Star Wars looter shooter. I disagree, Vac, and here's why.
It's not.
I actually read where an interview that David Polfetted, I probably butchered his name, but he was in the video I just showed. He is the he's one of the managing directors at Massive, and Julian Garrity, who is the creative director for Divisions 1 and 2. Julian Garrity said that I'm trying to find the exact quote here, but he essentially said that this is going to be a brand new, unique experience for Massive, and they're really like doing something. Here we go. I said Massive are very excited to start crafting this new experience. We truly look forward to create something totally different from what we have done in the past, while upping the bar for the industry. So I think that quote right there means that this is not going to be a looter shooter. They're doing something completely different. Now, what it is, I mean, they do have the assets already set for cover shooting, so maybe it will have some cover shooting elements to it. But being an actual looter shooter, I don't think that's it at all. I think it's going to be something different. It could be a maybe melee focused with Jedi and lightsabers and stuff. We don't know yet, but I think they have the tools to be able to make whatever Lucasfilm Games wants them to make work and make it look nice. It's just the other side of it. Can they really handle it? One, they're really terrible at stories. But again, this goes back to what I was saying about Machine Games and the Indiana Jones, and how Disney has all these game developers working with their people on stories. Like I know for a fact that throughout this entire contract with EA, they have been hiring people who work in Hollywood to do CG cutscenes for them, to do the writing for the stories for those Star Wars games. And if you play Battlefront 2, that campaign is awesome. It's an awesome campaign. And that was all the cutscenes and the voice acting, all that stuff was managed by Disney / LucasArts. So I think they kind of shore up some of the weaknesses that Massive kind of has built in with just how they aren't all that great at writing stories. What do you think, man? What do you think about the story aspect of things?
I think this is
that, and do you think this is going to be a looter shooter?
Oh no, I don't need. We don't need no more of those. I didn't think it was gonna be a looter shooter, just for the simple fact that, like, from the article you just read, because I heard that in passing. I didn't read it anywhere, but the same reason I think MachineGames is a good choice for the type of Star Wars game they're making, and we don't know what that is, but we just want to assume that it's going to be more of a narrative story game, because MachineGames is already good at that. Now, I don't want them to make a shooter because Xbox already got a crap ton of shooters, so that's what I want to be different. And the reason I want the reason I want Massive to do something different is, yes, they're really good at looter shooters. They're good at it, but they don't do it as great. If you want to put it in that lane, they didn't even succeed on the level they needed to succeed with the property that they had full control over. So I really don't want to see that be the reality for another Star Wars game. It's kind of like you're betting on yourself and hoping that you do it right the second time, where you already did it twice, and people like the set. Like, that's the thing. People love the first one, and they love the things you put into it, and they love the story changes you did in the second one, but you completely dropped the end game. And that will kind of be another focus point, and a very hyper focus point of what the next game would be, especially if it's a Star Wars game. And not only are you going to have the gamers that were 100% behind you with Division, you're going to have those people on board, because it was like, yo, if we can get something like that on Division level Star Wars, that's amazing. Now you got those people on you, and you got the rabid Star Wars fan on you too. Oh no, I don't even want them to go in that direction. I think this game is going to be more of a not gonna say a standalone. It's gonna be, like you said, a new adventure. I have a feeling it's gonna have something to do with a lot of the expanded universe stuff. Maybe dive deeper into all of the different things that are going through some of the books. It could be based on any of that type of stuff. I just think that overall it shouldn't be a looter shooter because we need to kind of get away from that as much as possible. And I do think that Disney probably would have picked, they don't want to go down the road of having their game be monetized in that direction because it took a while for that sting of what happened with Battlefront to get away from now. You know, people already don't trust Star Wars as much as it is, you know, with the IP has been ran. The Mandalorian saved a lot of that, you know, a lot of conversations in other industries that saved a lot of that. So I don't think they want to put their name on something like that with the chance of a third-party developer effing it up again. So that's why I think they're going to stay away from that. Not saying that they won't go down that road in the future, because I do think they want to have a game like that that's kind of evergreen and always have people consistently playing the game. And they, you know, they closed Galaxies down a while ago, which was their MMORPG that they used to have. I know they still do Star Wars Republic of Knights of the Republic. They still have that running on PC and stuff. So it just really just comes down to how they want to implement that, because Slow-Mo's 100% right. This is going to be driven by what LucasArts and Disney wants to do. And then Massive is just going to lend their expertise to build the world that they want, because that's one thing nobody can take away from Massive. They know how to build a world. Now they just need to fill that world with things that people want to do in it, either in some type of single player narrative game or even in they could do a co-op. It could be a base co-op game. Can you imagine them doing like Republic Commandos, something like that? But on a grander
I can see that. I can see them doing a lot of different things with this. It's that when you have an IP like Star Wars, and we've seen it in the past already, where we're seeing like Jedi Academy, we've seen the Battlefront, we've seen you know, Squadrons, where it's just, you know, it's all the TIE fighters and the flying and shooting. Like it's possible with you know, to have so many different kinds of games, RPGs. You know, right. You have the flexibility to, with the IP, to do so much. I really would prefer a more focused game about just the Jedi. I think I'm kind of tired of seeing games where you're the Star Troopers. You know, almost kind of like Mandalorian stuff, although the Mandalorian's excellent. I love that TV show. But do I want to play a Mandalorian game? Not really. I want to be a Jedi. I want to, you know, let me make a Jedi. Yeah, I think that's probably some of the allure of what Knights of the Old Republic was, because it allowed you to be a Jedi and to do Jedi stuff. And, you know, do I want to be a Sith? Do I want to be a Jedi and do the right thing, or do I want to like use the Force to suggest this guy go jump off a cliff? You know, like that's the kind of stuff I want to see from it. Now, who knows what they actually do? But I think when you have an engine like Snowdrop, which looks really good, and you combine that with a really popular IP, I think you're going to end up getting one. It's going to sell like crazy, just because it's going to look good and it's Star Wars. So, you know, you're going to get the casual Star Wars fan into it, which is also probably the reason why I don't think it's going to be a looter shooter, because looter shooters are not. They're still kind of niche, man. It's like it's not the kind of game that your casual audience will feel compelled to keep up with. When you have designed missions or designed, like, for example, this is what I'm showing you right now. I'm showing you this mission that I'm doing, and this mission is one part of a massive endeavor of having to hunt down all of these operators, then finally get to the final big operative. You can't just do this in like a couple of hours. It's going to take a while. I gotta do this mission. I gotta clear 3 control points. Then I gotta do a bounty, and that's just one zone. And then there's 3 more zones. Then I can fight the operative. Then that again 3 more times before I finally get the location of the one person I want to kill. Like, I can see a casual being like, yeah, I ain't doing all that.
Right.
I'm not doing, like, yeah, I'm just not interested in all that. You know, they want a nice story. They want to feel like it's Star Wars. They want to have that power fantasy. They want to be a Republic soldier fighting alongside Luke Skywalker. They want to be a Sith and going around, you know, force crushing people with, you know, with and looking like a badass. That's what they want. Right. So when you have that, you're not going to, you know, like, you're not really want to be involved with a looter shooter. So I kind of feel like that's where things are going to go with it. You know, good luck to him. I think it's going to work out well. But there's another thing that about the whole part where the CEO of Ubisoft said this is a long-term endeavor. He could mean that this is going to end up being a series, the Star Wars game that Massive is doing, which would then pretty much guarantee the Division 3 isn't being made by them. Right. Or he could mean that, because I mean, like, Ubisoft probably has the most development studios any publisher out there.
Right.
So it could very well be that he means that this isn't the only Star Wars game we're doing. We're doing more Star Wars games with them, and this is just the beginning. So who knows? Artemis says they're reaching out for a software engineer position. Oh, he's talking about Amazon. Okay, cool, good, yeah. Oh man. So the last thing I'm gonna bring up is last topic of the evening is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and so Mass Effect Legendary Edition has a rumored release date of March 12th. So I did a video about this because I'm a bit concerned here. And I'm just a little bit concerned, you know, just a little bit.
You were very concerned.
I don't like the fact that I have seen a screenshot of the new Mass Effect game that's coming out in like 5 years or something, and I haven't seen a screenshot of this remaster that's coming out in 2 months. Like, make it make sense, because I don't get it. Why it's coming out in 2 months? It's not going to look drastically different between now and 2 months. So what's up? Can you just show me what the game looks like? I don't understand. Can you tell me what's going on here, man?
Man. So I was thinking when you put the video on, I was like, let me look at this. I would listen to it. I was like, Slum will be he be hyperbolic right now. Then you started talking, and then I started listening more, and I was like, you know,
starting to make sense. Starting to make sense.
You know what got me? Because I was like, man, Slow-Mo, just dog, it's coming. That's all that matters, is coming. And then when you said, and you put the screenshot up of the ship in Mass Effect, the new Mass Effect, it's like, yo, we actually see concept art of the new Mass Effect, and we don't even know what that they're remaking from 10, 15 years ago, what they're doing to it. Like, we don't even got any we don't even got articles saying the things that they're adding to the game. We don't even know if this is gonna have all the DLCs. It's gonna be the base.
No. They did when they said that when they first announced it. They said that the Legendary Edition will have everything included, all the DLC for all the games, all the gear packs, the DLC characters, the expansions, all that stuff is included. So they did say that. Huh?
Is it going to have the multiplayer too?
No, it's not going to have the multiplayer. They said that they didn't include that.
Okay, so they took that out of Mass Effect 3. That's fine. I mean, I understand. If you want to play,
like, it was the Mass Effect 3's multiplayer was good, but it ain't. I mean, that's not what people come here for. You know,
and it was something to take your mind off everything. But if you want to go back and play the backwards compatible version, and you got it. But No, man, I'm with you. I sat there and I was like, man, I hate that he right about this. I was like, why do it's like
Why you
it's
gotta hate that I'm right? I don't understand. What is up with that, man?
trying to find a way to argue with you about that because we both love Mass Effect. I had to realize from a argumentative standpoint that I really can't argue with Mass Effect because you beat it like every year of your life, it seems. So
Yeah, close to it.
But but no, I think you're right. I think the biggest thing is like why at this point? Like this game has been, I mean, especially on top, this isn't even the first time that was supposed to release. It was supposed to come out last year. So we're already behind. We're grossly behind in information and just seeing stuff that's happening with the game. We don't, all right, are we targeting 1440p, 4K? I mean,
who knows? Oh, wait, no, they did say that. They did say it would be in UHD 4K on the new consoles. That's what they said.
PC, are we getting basically the PC game? That's stuff I need to know. Are we
okay? So who was it? Somebody told me that they heard that it was just going to be essentially a visual. I think it was on Twitter. Someone said that it's just going to be a resolution refresh, which I think would be a massive mistake. Yeah, I think you're not even going to update these 13-year-old textures in Mass Effect 1. You're just going to give it a resolution bump? Like, nah, like basically it's just a re-release of older content so that, people on PlayStation, because like on PlayStation 4, you can't really play these games because of no backwards compatibility to PlayStation 3, where the majority of these came out on. So it's just like, so like if that's all you're doing, I think that's a big mistake. Now, if that's all BioWare can do without screwing up.
Oh Lord, you want me to give credit for a game that but then again, I don't give 343 credit for a game that they messed up that worked flawlessly on its own.
Exactly, because we've seen with 343 that it's possible to mess up a remaster.
It's very possible.
It's possible to have a game that was launched not pretty much bug free, do a remaster of it, and the remaster be a bug fest. Like, it's super possible. So it's just I don't know about BioWare right now. I do imagine that like they can't be like, hey, pre-order the Legendary Edition now, and they ain't show anybody anything. They can't be like, hey, pre-order this game, but like you didn't show it to me yet.
Yeah, like, I mean, they're probably thinking like, well, people already know what Mass Effect. They're like, no, I need to know. Like, we're in an age where I need to know what the heck you're doing to this game. This exactly. Ain't a normal game. This isn't just ordinary cannon fodder. This is a game that a lot of people adore. We need to know what you're doing to it. I need to know: are you remastering one from the ground up? Are you taking these crazy, stupid, dumb Resident Evil controls and remapping it to work like Mass Effect 2 or 3? I mean, you don't got to go all the way to Andromeda. I can understand that that you don't probably want to rescope the whole entire game.
Yeah, that's going to be all 3 games at that point. Right, even though Andromeda had the best combat, you don't have to do all that. Yeah.
So even if you just say go in and just give me Mass Effect 2's gameplay and Mass Effect 1, I'll be like, you know what? That's a substantial upgrade.
Hey, Big Mike had a question here. My bad, Mike. I didn't see that was your question. Big Mike said, I don't know if it's true, but I was listening to some Mass Effect fans. They think they are bringing back Shepard in a new Mass Effect game. I've seen that kind of talk before too, Mike. They basically are taking that trailer, the teaser trailer that they did, and looking at the end of it, and basically, assuming based off of that where Liara from the original trilogy is definitely back. She's the Asari. They live for like a gazillion years, so she's definitely still alive. She picks up a part of someone's like armor or clothing, and you see the N7 insignia on it, and that's Shepard's. And people are taking that as, oh, it's definitely him. He's back, and then you see a ship, and you see some people at a ship, and they're taking that as thinking that at the very end of Mass Effect 3, where your Shepard, does what he does, whatever choice you chose to make. It looks like the destroy choice is the canon choice, which why wouldn't it be?
It better be destroy one.
You're right. And Shepard takes that breath, wherever he is, but he's separated from his crew in the Normandy, that they went and found him. It took some time because he blew up the Mass Effect relays, but now without fast travel, they're going to have to actually, the Mass Effect relays to help them travel fast. It may take some time for them to get there, but I do agree with them. I do think that Shepard is going to be in the new one. I think that's something that they realized after Andromeda, that people want Shepard. So give them what they want.
Not my Shepard. And the thing is, I wouldn't have had okay, so I know some people probably think it's blasphemous. Like, no, Mass Effect will never move on if we don't move on from Shepard. Look, I'm with you, but all Andromeda showed me was they put so much. It's like you can't just move on from a character like that, and especially when you ask the person to literally carry save data from one game to another, invest in the story, invest in the character development of
invest in the romance,
in everything. Like, this was the first game that you truly invested. Like, I know Dragon Age made you invest too, but they took it to a whole nother level with Mass Effect. You invested so much to the point where you literally cared like this was a family member when you were playing that freaking game. And so when I went to go play Mass Effect Andromeda, I just didn't feel connected to like none of the characters. Even in the beginning, all I saw when the Ryder twins, when their father walked out with that N7 armor on, I was like, how am I got this ugly whatever this suit is, and you walking around with my armor on? How do I get your armor? Because that's what I identified in that game, and it just kind of made me not really too much care for those characters. The game,
I'm about to put on.
Phenomenal if you actually give it a chance to play it when it comes to the gameplay side of it, but man, no game has captivated people like Mass Effect has, and it was because of Shepard.
It's true. Yeah, so look at shout out to Luca. She said that she's out in Cali, still dealing with the time zone differences. She says only 8 p.m. over there. The day has gone on forever.
Video demand why she was out there in Cali.
I know she out on vacation and still dropping content. It's crazy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Shout out to Dreadpool. What's going on, bro? Yeah, look, it's I think they're going to show us the game within the next month. I think they're going to finally show the game. Now, if it's just a bump in resolution, and they cleaned up some of the artifacting and things like that, then I'm gonna have a problem, because that's bare minimum, and that this shouldn't have took you that long to do that. If it's a little bit more than that, cool, good. Give me some 2021 textures on these faces, okay? Like redo these cutscenes, do something here, like give me a little bit more than what you're doing so far.
No time in the Citadel, no elevators.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, but that's a given. Especially with the newer consoles. I mean, that's a given. You're not going to have the load times, the elevator stuff, like all that.
Do 5 codexes before you get to the very top of the elevator.
Right. Yeah. Look, when I play Mass Effect on PC, there's literally no load screens whatsoever. It's just new area. Boom. That, like, I may see the low screen for a millisecond.
Yeah, the only thing I hate about the PC version is the shoddy controller support that they has.
Well, that's because it's done by the community. There's no native
There's no
controller support.
You need
And what that part right there where you kind of go through the scan, that was a load screen from back in the original game. That was a load screen. You see how fast I went through that? It's crazy. Darkseid said a remake with Frostbite engine. See that would be a problem because it would look good, but then them having to remake it in a completely different engine, I think that would be problematic, and we would be complaining about
gameplay.
Is
this your gameplay?
Yeah.
So did you ever change your Shepherd the way he looked?
Yeah. I used to do it like for all my playthroughs. I used to do that, but now especially now, like if I knew that I was going to be recording content or streaming parts of me playing Mass Effect. I just kept it. I want people to know that's Shepherd. See Shepherd.
You
Shepherd
right.
face.
It's so you should have did film Shep.
You know what? I really like Film Shep. I think I like Film Shep more than Male Shep, but I think Male Shepherd is canon.
Male Shepherd is canon.
So yeah, I just kind of just roll with it. Plus, he's got more options than Film Shepherd has when it comes to love interest.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they actually kind of had the same. Depending on how you play it.
What do you mean?
Okay. We'll talk.
No. Film Shep had take Mass Effect 2 for example.
Yeah.
She had Jacob Garrus.
I swear you could have Miranda, couldn't you?
No, not as
that was locked the Male Shep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, that's what I thought. I didn't. Yeah. I heard it.
Yeah. Exactly. So like Male Shep had Tally, Miranda, Jack. Okay. Film Shep could have Jack.
Maybe that's what it was. Film Shep could have Jack.
Yeah, but like in every game, Male Shepherd has more options.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never played Film Shep, so.
Yeah. I mean, like it's there's really not much of a difference. The only difference is that who you can romance.
See that Rex?
Yeah. Look, the detail? This is an old ass game. This is like what 2011. Yeah. Look at these. Look how these characters look, man. I mean, of course. So now you get, but look at you get a little too close and
on his face.
right. Look, like he got a Turian mask on.
Yeah.
But
like
the
turtle.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
Rex is man, trust me, man.
That's not Rex though. I killed Rex. That's Reeve, the other one that took over when Rex is dead.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, well, did you actually kill Rex or did someone kill Rex for you?
No, I killed Rex.
Rex down yourself?
Yo, in Mass Effect 1, Rex, the part where Rex gets a little out of pocket.
Oh, I know.
Vermeer.
Wasn't they put him down for me?
Yeah, see,
Ashley,
if you have a high enough Renegade or Paragon level, you can talk him down. I did have that, but I very rarely actually just straight kill him. Because I've never gone through entire, like all the playthroughs where Rex dead in the first one. I've only done it once just to see what happens. And then, like always, keep him in the party. So that's how I actually killed them off just to see what happens. And when you go into Mass Effect 2 and you go to their home planet, to Shanka,
yep,
it's not Rex that's running the leading them. It's this dude Reeve, who I mean he's just a nobody. It's just your typical guy.
He's gone. He got rid of Rex.
Right,
man. Rex. Rest in peace, Rex.
Yeah, had to put that work in on him.
Cure the genophage.
I'm at the part now where like this is the mission where you go to the Solarian plant place because they got the only female Krogan that can still bear children that without the genophage. So there's that. I could probably skip ahead
You know what?
to.
We should definitely do when this game comes out. We should definitely do a Mass Effect podcast, like one.
Oh, we've been talking about that for the longest time. Like, matter of fact, there's multiple people talking about it. The Iron Lords are talking about doing a debate between. This is not even really a debate because clearly Mass Effect 2 is better, but a debate on between Mass Effect 1 versus Mass Effect 2, because there are actually people out here, crazy, insane people, who for some reason think Mass Effect 1 is better than Mass Effect 2. They're high.
That's because they love the RPG side of it and not. And if you come from that, I kind of listen to them a little because Mass Effect 1 was so heavy in the RPG side.
Yeah, the inventory systems, the armor, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, which is it's old school BioWare with that. It's old school BioWare with that stuff, but it's the problems with the combat with the Mako.
Oh, the Mako by itself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, and their only like issue with Mass Effect 2 seems to be it was like, oh well, if you took it out, would the Mass Effect 2 really even need to happen? And I'm like, but it did happen.
It
was awesome.
It was awesome.
And that suicide mission at the end bodies your entire argument. Like, that suicide mission at the end is better than any one thing in Mass Effect 1, period.
True that.
So, but,
everybody walk out. True that.
Yeah. So, but I know that like Lucas talked about doing the kind of like a discussion of Mass Effect on her channel before. Look, if I could host one, I don't care, just as long as we get some great Mass Effect fans in. And just talk it out. Definitely not anyone who thinks Andromeda is the best one. Shout out to Richard Hoglaw out there who thinks that Andromeda is the best Mass Effect. Man, Hogue is a great lawyer. His video game opinions suck. They're terrible.
Games like this. Oh, Jesus.
Right, freaking Andromeda with the worst characters, the worst villains, the worst protagonists, the worst squad mates. The only thing it had good was the combat. The combat was good.
Combat, that was it. But
did you just see? Did you just see the low screen? Hold up, I'm gonna do it again. Watch this.
Where was the low screen?
All right, hold on. It's about to do a low screen. This low screen is like a half second. Now back on 360, this would have been like 2 hours.
Yeah, that was a load screen.
Look, if you blink, you missed it.
You go to a load screen, it pulls up the little computer, and you get a chance to read the whole everything that's on the screen, and then that wouldn't even. I don't even think the load screen, the screen loaded.
Exactly. Now, here's the messed up part, and the part of the reason why I'm definitely getting the Legendary Edition is that the PC version was even a huge buggy mess, even back in the day.
Yeah.
And EA never had them fix it. It was like there are parts in Mass Effect 2, the DLCs, the expansions, they're almost unplayable. They're almost unplayable without mods. I had to get mods in order to finish it because I guess whoever they outsourced it to do the
PC ports,
they forgot to put in the load screens for transitions from one scene to the next, from one part of the game to the next. And so with the way the code works without the load screen, it just doesn't even though you don't really need a load screen, especially when you got like hardware like mine that would just only show it for a half a second. But right. The fact that the game relies on the load screen before it goes to the next part, and I mean, I'm not a game developer. I don't know exactly how that works within Unreal Engine. I think that was Unreal Engine 3 back in the day, but the fact that it didn't have it there caused it to just like basically have a black screen once you would finish certain parts in the DLC, and it would just never go to the next section, and you just have to kill the game. So someone figured it out and created a mod that allowed you to bypass it. and that allowed me to be able to finish the game. It's just unfortunate that you got people in the community got to fix stuff that EA refused to fix.
Well,
and these facial expressions look better than the faces in Andromeda.
They do.
Sadness.
The lip sync actually is on in this game.
This is so sad.
Mort. Oh, I forgot Mort was missing an ear.
Yeah, he's always missing.
It's like, oh, Mort, he missing the ear.
Lay says Mass Effect 2 is the best. It is the best. It is the best of the series. My ranking would be Mass Effect 2, then Mass Effect 3, then Mass Effect 1,
then Andromeda.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh no, we're in agreements. It's like you can't. Mass Effect 1 is a good game, but it's only a good game because Mass Effect 2 was so much better that it made people want to go back and play Mass Effect 1 just so they could take their story progression all the way through. And in the meantime of doing that, you realize the story in Mass Effect 1 was amazing. It was just you had to deal with the funky mechanics that the game was throwing at you, like not getting in cover and having weird angles to shoot at and just system working correctly.
By the way, some people may look at my gameplay and be like, yo, what the hell is Slow-Mo doing? Look, man, there's no I refuse to do the controller mod for this game on PC because it messes up some other functions that you need with the controls, and it's not like you can go completely controller anyway. There's like you still need your mouse and keyboard for some parts. So I just said, you know what? I need to get better mouse and keyboard anyway. I'm just going strictly mouse and keyboard. But there are times where I'm just like, I look lost because as aiming, I'm fine with. It's the WASD for keys for movement that is always messing me up, and I'm hitting the wrong button sometimes. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. I was gonna ask you. I said this looks like keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, it's definitely
shaky, but no, man, the game's phenomenal. Can't wait for them to see what they're actually going to do when we find out exactly what the Legendary Edition is going to have. We already know we're going to get a fantastic game, but are they going to add a lot to it to really flush out what we really truly want? And I'm also, are they going to it would be really cool if they actually revamp the ending to 3 and do something different. Not different, but like which version?
There's a mod on PC that gives you a different ending for Mass Effect 3. I didn't do it, but it's supposed to be basically just a happy ending of some sort. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. Mike says, "Damn, February is going to be heavy on my wallet for games. Werewolf Apocalypse. I saw the trailer for that. I don't see what the hype is, but cool. You know, if people are into it, cool." Persona 5 Strikers, I think I might pick that up though. Persona 5 Strikers, I might actually get in with.
What's that? Rider Republics.
I don't know what Riders Republic is. What is that?
Where you go? It's like the sports game where they be mountain biking and going through different terrains. It was at the what's the name reveal event? I forget what the name of the event was.
Well, I mean, it looks like Mitch says, didn't Riders Republic get delayed? I don't know. I don't know what that game is, but
Riders Republic.
Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me if it got delayed because a lot of the games are going to get delayed this year. Still dealing with COVID, so we're still dealing with that unfortunate, developers having to work from home and not really having the kind of collaborations that they can do when they're all together in the studio. So yeah, that's going to continue with like a lot of delays up until we get we can get back to normal again. But let's go ahead and wrap up, man. How do you I'm sorry, Forte, let us know what you got planned going on for the next week and where people can find you.
Yeah, man. Great show as always, man. Being here with you is always a treat and a joy, especially when we're talking about things that we love, which are Mass Effect. So can never go wrong there. But it's I'm just working on a couple of Xbox stuff, working on a lot of short form stuff because come to the realization that Snowdrop to draw out conversations to, basically hit a number. I just want to get as consistent as I can on the platform to, bringing stuff out. So that's what I'm basically working on now.
That's what I'm doing, man. Last 4 videos have been under 5 minutes.
Yeah, if that's all it takes, that's all it takes. It's
right.
less. And plus, it just gives me a chance to just work on some editing stuff that I've been kind of messing around with. I already made 9 thumbnails for the videos I want.
Oh my gosh. So you got 9 videos, or you just made multiple thumbnails that you haven't made a decision on?
No. I made 9 So this is what my thought process is now. If I make a thumbnail for a video, it makes it kind of entices me to finally make the video. Because sometimes I'll be sitting there like, really don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to make this video. But if I go out of my way to make a thumbnail for it, and I have it sitting on my dashboard, on my desktop dashboard, so I have 9 of them sitting up there, and they're all videos I am going to make videos for because I literally made the thumbnail for them. So that's kind of my way of like assuring to myself that this video is going to get made because I actually took the time to make the thumbnail for it.
Gotcha.
Okay. But that's just a way of just kind of motivating myself because that you kind of need that when there's nothing really to talk about. There's nothing going on. Like I was talking to Attic about it. It's a bunch of opinion pieces right now outside of some of the stuff like Indiana Jones getting announced and stuff like that. You're really just talking about your opinions of most things, which is kind of good for what me and you do. We are very opinionated people, so I think that's a good thing. But outside of that, that's it. Go ahead and beat this star. Well, not probably beat it this week, but at least dive a little bit deeper into Fallen Order with the new update, which is incredible. I wish they went a little bit further, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth when it comes to getting better performance on a console. But outside of that is Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and you guys know everywhere else you could catch us, next week on DPS on my channel. No Scumcast this weekend. And then we also got Crossfire tomorrow at 7 p.m. Be there or be square. And hopefully Mooch doesn't try to bury a conversation again like he did yesterday on Brad.
Oh, we mean bury a conversation.
You and him were going at it.
Who was going at it?
You and Mooch yesterday.
We were?
I'm talking about the conversation. Y'all were talking about the games being exclusive and stuff.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, but that was at the end of the show. That was
what I'm saying. At the end of the show, I was shocked. I was just sitting back listening. I'm like, yo, I don't have to say nothing because Slow-Mo handling that.
Oh man, it wasn't. It was a good conversation. The thing is, like, when you have 2 different opinions of where you think, it wasn't even really me arguing on what I thought was going to happen, just giving a different perspective of what could happen, And so, and the fact that we really just don't know, like, but Microsoft could do absolutely what Mooch said they're going to do, or they could do what I suggested that it's possible that they do. They can go either way with it because it's their money, it's what they own now, and they can do whatever they want with it, right? So it's what it is. But if you guys missed that conversation, go check out Brat from last night, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast on Enrique's channel. It was a good show, excellent show with Dreamcast guy Mooch and the crew.
Yep. Did you? Okay, so let me ask you this. In Andromeda, because I haven't played it in a while, do they have thermal clips in that game for your ammo reload? Or is it
Yeah, I think so. It's been a minute since I played it too, but yeah.
I love how dramatic they are in Mass Effect 2 when the clip comes flying out and it makes the noise.
yeah, it is.
It's like so dramatic. It's like choop, choop. It just the clip just goes flying off screen. Yeah.
Well, you guys can catch me, of course, on this channel, making more videos for you guys. I appreciate everybody that came through. You guys are awesome. Always appreciate the support. I got about 3 videos that I got planned coming out, and they are one kind of talking about the Ubisoft and massive Star Wars game. Another one about the Division 3 and what are the chances of that game being made. And then another game is actually going to be about the Snowdrop engine and about some things some research I've been doing on Snowdrop, and how I feel like it's just a really excellent engine, and it's worth discussing and talking about, kind of showing people what they can really do and how it makes sense that Lucasfilm Games really want this next Star Wars game to be running on it. So yeah, look out for that stuff in the future. Are you going to catch me tomorrow on Breakfast with Boom? With I think Boom's going to be on there. I think Dreadpool, who was in the chat, is going to be on there as well. Bit Cloud, Ryan, Bad Bit. It's going to be a good time, and Crispy Bomb as well. So we're going to be talking about some of the same topics we talked about tonight, as well as some other stuff that Boom's got planned. As you said, no Scumcast this Saturday, but catch us next week on DPS podcast. Once again, we'll be on Forte's channel at the usual time, 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. Be there, be square.
Yeah, square.
And I hope you guys have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your games. Peace out.
Peace.